Welcome to the Baseball Together podcast with your hosts, Blackjack Brad and Briggy Blue Eyes. And now, Baseball Together. Baseball family, welcome to this week's episode of the Baseball Together podcast, this early part of the week, since we're doing a lot of them now, and it's very exciting. I'm Brig. I just scared Brad, and he's here. How are you, Brad?
A little bit frightened, but recovering. I'm good.
Outstanding.
How are things?
Things are good. Things are good. Pitchers and catchers are on the reportage, which is not the way you use that word. They are reporting, though. The Cubbies had their pitchers and catchers report Sunday, Super Sunday. A number of them did, and they will have their first workout on Friday? This coming Friday.
So that was their first. That was their first workout with pitchers and catchers. Their first full squad workout will be Friday. So happy Valentine's Day to everyone in the area.
To everyone in baseball land. Now that last touchdown is out of the way, feel however you want to feel about it. It's baseball season, baby. That's how I feel.
Yeah,
I'm like, whatever. I don't need no doctor.
I love that the Super Bowl has been pushed back a week from where it used to be, because it used to be the first weekend in February. Yeah. But I love that it's the second weekend for now, because then it is literally like Super Bowl ends, pitchers and catchers report within the next day or two if they haven't already, and we're rolling. It's time for spring training, baby. I'm going to a game in 12 days.
I know. It's going to be.
That's amazing.
It's awesome. Before we jump into some current events for this week's show, the early in the week show, the Tuesday show. Wow.
There it is.
Welcome, baseball family. We are doing a lot of shows now. This one, today, we're going to talk about sunflower seeds really quick, because one of our favorite things to do around here is to eat and talk about and promote sunflower seeds, and we have gone around and found the ones that we like the best. In our opinion, that is Chinook seeds. If you've seen them around, or if you have not seen them around, find your nearest Buc-ee's or whatever you got close by and go get you a pack of Chinook seeds. And if you don't want to do that much work and put in that much effort, you can go to their website, ChinookSeedery.com. You can use code BTPOD, Bravo Tango, pod as in podcast, P-O-D. That'll get you 10% off your order at ChinookSeedery.com. Saves us, or it helps us a little bit with the show. It's going to save you a little bit of money on the back end for you. And you're going to get some of the best seeds that we've ever experienced. In fact, they're the best seeds we've ever had. The seed themselves are that good. And they have every flavor you can think of. Brad loves all of them. But what's your favorite right now? Changes all the time.
Today, I'm going to go with Parma Pet Brig.
Dude, that's mine.
I know.
Baseball family, that's my favorite.
That's my favorite.
That's mine. You touch my drum kit. That's it. So go to ChinookSeedery.com. You can save 10% off on your order of the best seeds ever. Okay. First things first, Pete Alonso has officially re-signed with the Mets. This happened, a couple of days ago now, but I think the implications of this deal and how long it took to materialize are fascinating. But here are some of the details. 2 years, $54 million. There's a player option for year 2 worth $24 million. So you basically can say this is a 1-year deal worth about $30 million. We'll see what happens.
Not a bad deal.
It's not a bad deal. It's not a bad deal. I think both the Mets and Pete Alonso, I need a turn of phrase that's not as crass, but they both got caught with their pants down. That's what I'll say. And they're staring at each other like, who's going to go first in this game of chicken they've been playing?
Right.
And they waited too long, and then now they're stuck with each other. Whether they wanted to be or not, this is where they're at. They ran out of time, they ran out of other options, or whatever happened, and now here we are. So I think that's why it's structured the way it's structured. Because they're both kind of like, I didn't like the way you handled my Wheaties. So can we play nice for a season, and then we'll kind of figure it out after that.
I think so, and this is the thing, he's 30 years old. So he's not like Juan Soto, because Juan Soto is like the youngest guy ever to hit free agency. I know that's hyperbole, but that's what it feels like, because he is not very old at all. But Pete Alonso is 30 years old. And so I'm sure that as a Scott Boras guy, Boras was probably like, we want to get that 10-year deal, get you till you're 40. But every team was like, first off, no, he's a slugger with a below average glove. So we don't want him for that long. That long. Right?
Yeah.
And so, and after coming off of a down year by Pete Alonso's standards, right?
Sure.
The market was not as hot. And I think that they had kind of gotten to a point where they accepted that it was going to be a short-term deal because of that, because he's 30 years old, because he's a slugger with a below-average glove. It's not going to age well. That eventually he's going to have to move to DH, and that's just the way that it's going to go, right?
Yep.
But see if you can get things turned around this year and have almost like a prove-it deal, right? Despite the fact that he still had a good year, right?
He did have a good year.
He still hit 34 home runs, hit 240, but he only had a 2.6 WAR. And his OPS plus was 123, which is low for him because in 2022 he had a 146 OPS plus, but in 2023 he had a 123 OPS. So that's 2 years in a row, 123. So I'm curious if the Mets and the market were like, let's make sure he's not like on the downhill side.
Like slide.
If he can have a good year this year, he can opt out and get paid. Probably 5-6 year deal, I think.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I also think that this is a prove it deal for the relationship. And that's the part I was trying to stress earlier. And I know it's a business and I know we're all professionals. However, I do think that we continue to be human beings with emotional centers. And when you poke at those too hard and you rub people the wrong way too many times, you know, those things endure. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. And it won't be interesting. This season will be interesting performance-wise, but it is every year. It will be interesting next season to see what happens. And I think I want to know from you, Brad, how important do you feel the team's overall performance / accomplishment will be in Pete Alonso's option?
I think. I mean, they made it to the NLCS this last year. That's a good run, right?
Yeah.
You're one of the final 4 teams. That's a good run. I don't know that he can necessarily have the expectation of the World Series of like improving on that run. I think mostly it's going to come down to his individual performance and maybe what the Mets do at the trade deadline, depending on where they're at, the kind of moves that the team makes to improve as needed. If they're like right there in the wild card, because let's be honest, they're probably not going to be there for the division this year if the Braves actually stay healthy.
If they come back, yeah. It's going to be
because that's
very interesting in the NL
between
East.
the Braves and the Phillies. Like that's a tough division, just with those two right there. So I think you've got to see where you're at in the wild card, where you're at in the division, possibly. If you're hanging tough with those two teams, like you got a good team on your hands. So
yeah,
I think you see what management does at the trade deadline, and I don't think you necessarily even have to make a deep run to opt back in or restructure that contract for a few more years and more money. Right? That I think you just see management say, we believe in you and at least a few of the guys around you that can win, maybe not this year, maybe next year or the year after, right? Because they basically have bottomless pits as pockets.
Right.
From the way that they talk.
Yeah, you answered my question. You answered the question I meant to have asked was, if you're Pete Alonso, how much of this season's accomplishment is riding on your exercising the option, right?
Yeah, and I guess the way that what I meant to say was, I guess the shorter way to say it is, he needs to have a good year, and I think everybody around him needs to perform for him to come back next year.
And the team needs to show.
If he has a terrible year, though, you can take it to the bank that he's going to opt in for that second year. He's going to take that $24 million guaranteed because he's not going to want to hit the market if he has a terrible year. But I think that if he has a good year, I wouldn't be surprised if he tries to restructure. But if he has a great year and the Mets stink, he's going somewhere else.
Yeah. Yeah, you're probably right.
I think that's where I was getting at with what the front office does at the deadline. So.
Well, I know. That's why I said I think you answered the question. The question I should have asked that did.
Okay.
Anyway,
I see.
you did a great job.
I
Brad.
see.
Way to go. You're awesome.
Thank you.
Um,
Well, my
let's
question
put.
for you though, Brig, like
Yeah.
I'm curious, do you think how much better does this make the Mets? Like, are they markedly better? I mean, obviously they're better, but like, does Pete Alonso take them from the wild card to the division or the division to the NLCS? I honestly don't feel like this team is going to get back to the NLCS, much less make the jump to the World Series just because Pete Alonso got here or came back. Because I
I
feel like
mean,
there
if
are
you're
some other
asked,
problems, and I think there's going to be some regression to the mean this year.
yep, that's what I was gonna say. I don't think Pete Alonso is your linchpin. Who's gonna hold it all together. This is not the one guy we needed to just seal it up and make it go. Nope, that's not Pete Alonso. And it might have been a few years ago, maybe, but it's not right now. And it's not for him, and it's not for the way the team is built yet either. And I say yet to your
Right.
point about what happens at the deadline. We don't know what that'll be. And God forbid, Pete Alonso does not end up needing to be replaced anywhere between now and the end of the season due to unforeseen circumstances.
Yeah.
But should that be the case, the question then is, will the Mets be that much worse without him? It's a counter argument to will they be that much better with him. I think we've decided is a marginal but positive decision to have him there, right? It's positive,
Right.
but it's
Yeah.
not high impact positive. If they lose Pete Alonso, where are we on the opposite end? What do you think?
I don't want to say catastrophic, but you kind of hit I feel like you hit the panic button, right?
Yeah.
Because this is my thing is that with him they're almost as good as they were last year because I feel like like I said there's going to be some regression and they lost a few pieces, lost a little bit of pitching, which is I think going to be some part of a problem for them.
Yeah.
Right?
Sure.
But with Pete Alonso, the drop off this year from last year is not nearly as stark as what it would have been without him.
I think I agree with you. I think we've made our position clear on adding him, but taking him away, I think, diminishes the entire ball club's capability 20%, maybe
You've got a
30.
gaping hole in his spot in the lineup. Like I know you've got Juan Soto, but I don't want to say their skill set because Juan Soto could go out there and hit a bunch of bombs too, right? Like he can
will.
hit for power with the best of them.
Yeah,
but
he will.
Also his hitting approach is different though. He sprays the ball way more than Pete Alonso ever would.
100%.
Right. So you have a different plate approach in Soto than you do in Alonso, and so I think that it would be hard to fill the role that Pete Alonso fills if he's not there, despite the fact that you have Juan Soto. Because Juan Soto is only one man, right?
Yeah,
and I think
don't
that
ask him
those
that,
two
though.
working together, those two hitting back to back in the lineup is going to be really good for both of them.
That's going to be good. I agree. Which is why if they lose Pete for any reason, that's rough. That's going to be bad news bears. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we're going to move on because Ippei Mizuhara, gosh, words tonight. Ippei Mizuhara has now been sentenced in the gambling catastrophe of last year.
There you go.
Official charges were bank and tax fraud for stealing $17 million from Shohei Ohtani's bank account. He's been sentenced to 57 months in prison, which is 4 years, 9 months. That includes 3 years supervised release. He's also been ordered.
On top of that, he has 3 years supervised release.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
Also ordered to pay $18 million in restitution, nearly $17 million going back to Ohtani and to the IRS. The rest of it will go to the IRS, penalties and fines and whatever you call them, whatever you want. But it's a done deal. Case closed. Question mark. Is this over? Can we be done? Do we want to be done? What's your take, Brad? And what's your finger on the pulse saying?
Okay. Yes, I want to be done with it. And I'm done with the Ohtani jokes too. Like, I'm done with the Ohtani took the over. I'm done with it, because this is my last thing on this, Brig. I can't remember if I said this before, but imagine going to a country where you don't speak the language, and your right hand man is your connection to everybody in that country through the language. Now, what are you gonna have that guy do for you? Friggin' everything. Okay.
A lot. Yeah.
So Shohei Ohtani, who was somebody who didn't speak much English coming to the United States, had somebody who he trusted, he believed was his right-hand man, taking care of things for him. Unfortunately, he was a con man. He called the bank, pretended to be Ohtani, moving money around for Ohtani, pretending that he was doing it in his best interest. Unfortunately, he stole a bunch of money. And when you have that much, you don't deal with it yourself. I guarantee you,
since the beginning,
Ohtani did not know. Okay? So put it to bed, put yourself in the situation, and say, yeah, that is probably what happened. Okay? I don't want to hear any more Ohtani taking the over bets. I don't want to hear any more of it. It needs to be done. Bury it.
Now, hang on, Brad.
Okay.
Did you just propose we employ empathy? Because I don't think that's a comfortable place for a lot of people to be. Just kidding. That's exactly what you should do. Take 3 minutes, try and put yourself in someone else's shoes. It's going to be okay. We're pretty sure that being a foreigner in a country that speaks a language that is not even close to the one you speak, dealing with more money than people ever even think of having ever.
We're never going to sniff the amount of money that Ohtani had before he even went to the Dodgers.
Exactly. So, come on now. We have no idea. And if you do know, we would like to hear from you. So get in arguing, go in the doobly-doo, start throwing down, and let us know. Shoot us a text or a voicemail or whatever you want to slide into our DMs. We want to talk about it. Because if we're missing something big, let us know. But we're pretty sure, we feel pretty good about this. So maybe we're off. Yeah. We'd love to hear from you. Okay. Baseball prospectus. Okay. We're calling this PECOTA or PECOTA. How do you pronounce this?
PECOTA. It's PECOTA.
PECOTA. I don't like that. I like ricotta cheese. That's where my brain went.
Well, it is widely accepted as PECOTA.
Fine. It makes sense if you sound it out. Because they released their PECOTA projections. PECOTA stands for Player Empirical Comparison and Optimization Test Algorithm. See that? PECOTA. I put emphasis on all the O's. That in my kids' school, they say the O sounds like themselves. So that's how you know it's a long vowel. You like that? That's how that works. So what it does is it compares, that's what it means. What it does is it compares player performance to similar players with similar career paths. It also uses a weighted average and regression to the mean to estimate a player's true value. It adjusts a player's forecast based on the park and the league in which they play, and it considers how comparable players' stats changed over time. Fascinating. So, in layman's terms, this group of smarty pants people got together and they ran an algorithm that compared everybody against everybody, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they released a video game simulation version of what they believe may happen, and statistically ought to, in their opinion. Is that fair to say?
Mm-hmm. Right? Yeah.
Put a cap on that pretty good? Okay.
Yep. Yeah.
So we're going to go through this, and we're going to talk about what they've projected, and then we're going to get arguing about it, because as long as we can argue with love, we're going to keep loving to argue.
Because who doesn't love to play over-under? Hello.
That's right.
Like, let's be real.
Brad was so excited to play over and under. So this also is going to give us...
Sell that very well, Brig. I mean...
You what?
Next year when the PECOTA standings come out, I'm going to need you to sell over under a little bit more.
Timeout. Back it up. Baseball family. Brad is super thrilled to play over under. Okay?
Yes.
It's like...
Yes.
It's like his favorite thing in the world. And we want you to play with us. How's that, Brad? So here's what we're going to do.
That was perfect.
We're going to go through each of their projections. We're going to decide which ones we agree with, which ones we don't agree with. And we're going to say yes or no, over or under. Brad is up since he's in the hot seat and he's the onlyest one here. Brad? You ready?
Okay. Yeah, I'm ready.
Lead us on to this charge here.
Okay, let's start in the AL East because that's the first one in the article that I have pulled up. Are you ready? So it has the Orioles. The Orioles the 89 wins. Over or under, Brig? What do you think? The Orioles 89. I'm going to say under.
Under. Yeah.
I mean, that's a pretty big fall off from last year, but I got to go under. Yankees 89. I'm saying over. I think they made enough moves.
They're gonna win more than 89 games. Yeah, I'm going over.
Blue Jays 84.
I'm going under. Like, how is that possible?
I'm going under, but not very many. I think they're a 500 team this year.
Yeah, but interleague play will be a huge part of why. Anyway, keep going.
Right. Yeah. Rays 82.
Balanced schedule.
Yeah.
Ooh. 82.
I'm going even.
They're going to win more than 82 games.
I'm going even. They're going to win 82.
I'm going over.
And the Red Sox 78.
Over.
So it's tough for me with the Red Sox because
they're better than that.
They're in on the Bregman sweepstakes, and they're also in trying to get Arenado. So if they don't get either of those guys, I got to go under. But if they get one of them, I'm going to go ahead and go over because I feel like they do hover right around that 78 range.
I think the mean for them, like the baseline for them is 75, 76 games.
Yeah.
So if you add, you're right. If you add one of those guys,
it
no big
takes
deal.
it over the top.
Yeah.
Okay, AL Central. The Twins, 87 wins.
Under.
Yeah, I'm going under for sure on the Twins, 87.
I
Royals,
don't know.
81.
Over.
Definitely over. Cleveland's Baseball Club, 80.
Over, but they're going to 81.
I'm going to go over. I'm going to say close. I'm going to say close to 90 with them. The Tigers, 79.
Oh, over. Way over.
Got to go over. Got to go way over. Yeah. Go way over the Tigers. And the White Sox, 61.
Ooh.
This might be the toughest one of all.
It's like, keep in mind, how is it possible? How is it possible?
They only won 41 games last year.
Oh,
so are they going to improve by 20 games? No, I'm going under.
How could they not improve by 20 games? It was historically, catastrophically bad. Where are they going to get those other freaking 20 games? You could pull those 20 games from every team in the league one time or whatever and make it up. I'm going over. They're going to win more than 61
over
games.
61? Okay.
Yes.
Oh, man. Let's put a pie in the face on that one in particular because that's a great one. Okay?
Okay.
Loser gets a pie in the face on that. Okay.
Deal.
AL West, Rangers, 89.
Oh, under.
Under, yeah. Astros, 87.
Oh, ooh. Even.
That's what I was going to say. Even at 87.
I'm going even.
Mariners, 86.
Ooh, even.
Really
unless you
want
to give them one win over, and then that'd be okay.
Yeah, and that's the thing is that, like, so last year they won 85. So that puts them one game better, and theoretically in the playoffs last year, and I can think of a couple games that they just let get away. And so it's basically the same team, minus a couple of small changes. I'm going to go over, and not very much, but over. Like it's a good year if they win 90. Obviously, that's a great year, but I'm going to say like 88. The Angels. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. What were you going to say?
No, it's tough with Seattle because it has a lot to do with them and their team, but it also has so much to do with that whole division because they always always playing ping pong off each other constantly.
Right. I know.
And I know it's that way
So
across the leagues. I got it, but it feels really intense at the top of the AL West every time.
So this is, I was texting with our buddy Jewel about this today about the Mariners. It's that Julio Rodriguez was not Julio last year. I have their. This is weird, Brig, but doing some Instagram sleuthing. His relationship status is up in the air right now. So we don't know if maybe that was a distraction last year. Very well could have been.
Right.
So I know, Brig, but it's like these are the kind of things that you look at when you're like, what's going on, right?
Let's go back to they're human beings. Okay, it's okay.
Exactly right. I know. It's just funny. Anyway, so Julio was not Julio. Mitch Garver can't be that bad again. Either can JP Crawford, unless JP Crawford is just like cooked, right? That's the only explanation.
He'd have to be all the way cooked. Yeah.
Have to be, right? And then everybody else is pretty much the same. You get Randy Arozarena for a full year. You get Victor Robles for a full year. That feels like they're at least 2 games better.
Randy Arozarena for a full year is going to be a big deal.
I think so too. So too.
That is going to be a big deal.
Left field was a revolving door.
I wish Seattle had made some other moves, though.
You and freaking everybody else.
I know.
Because, yeah. All right. Sorry. Let's move on. Angels, 76. Over, under.
Under.
Under. Yeah.
You
Athletics, 71. Yeah. Yeah. Under for the Angels, definitely.
I'm going over on the A's.
I'm going to go over too. They're sneaky. They're sneaky good.
Yeah, they're not gonna show up last place in the division this year. I don't know why.
It'll be the Angels. It'll be the Angels again.
It'll be the Angels. Yeah, unless something crazy goes down.
They finished 6 games behind the A's last year. The Angels did.
And the crazy thing, whatever crazy would have to happen, would have to be in Anaheim. You don't throw any crazy at me with Oakland, whoever they are, because it's not going to matter. It's going to be the crazy is going to have to come from Anaheim for them to not end up in last place.
So here's the funny thing about them is they've made a flurry of moves this whole offseason. They've been bringing guys in, but it's like they don't really make sense to make your team better. It's just like you've talked about with Brian Cashman wanting to collect baseball cards. That's kind of what it feels like in Anaheim, is that Artie Moreno just wants to collect baseball cards of all these players who at one point were good, maybe not even great, but good. Like, oh, if we bring all these guys in who are good, it's like, well, they're not anymore. You know?
I think what's happened, speaking specifically to the deals that they've made, my impression is that they're getting ready to flip guys at the deadline. This might be the first time in a few years that they will have said, okay, it's not going to happen this year and that's okay, but we're going to go all in building this thing up, 26, 27, 28.
So they're playing the long game by bringing in assets that they can trade.
Yep, and I hope, beyond all hope, that Mike Trout stays healthy, that he performs well through the deadline, that he's on a different team by the end of the deadline, and that he ends up in a playoff scenario in October.
Yeah.
I need it.
Yeah, so that's the thing that's so crazy about Mike Trout staying healthy, is that they are a completely different team when he is healthy. If he stays healthy, you might be able to go over 76. You might just, because they feel like a rudderless ship when he's not there, and it's just like a bunch of guys who's like, well, now what do we do? Mike's gone. Now what?
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
it doesn't feel like anybody can take ownership, and there's no fault of it really anybody's other than just like it's a whole bunch of young guys and a guy who doesn't want to be there, and Anthony Rendon.
I thought you were talking about Artie Moreno.
He wants to be there because he keeps collecting money.
I know,
but
he just doesn't want to do his actual job. Okay,
you're right. NL East, Braves 92.
Whoa, even.
I was gonna say if they stay healthy, they're going over. They're going over.
If
92.
they stay healthy, they're going over. But
Yeah.
I can't bank on it right now. So I'm saying even.
No. Because they last year, Brig, with the disaster they had, still won 89.
I know.
So they know
I
what they're
know.
doing there.
I love it.
Okay, Mets 90. I gotta go under.
Over. I'm going over.
Okay, I'm going under on that one. Phillies
Okay.
88.
Can I go over again? Is that
I
I'm
gotta
trying
go
to do the
over.
math in my head. I
I
gotta
know.
go over.
Yeah, I gotta go over on the Phillies.
Mm-hmm.
Nats 74.
Over. They're going over 74.
Oh, I'm going under.
Really?
Not by much, but I'm going under. Some of those wins that take them under are going up to the Braves. That's why.
Okay. Okay.
And the Marlins 62. Some of those because they're going under. Some of those are going up to the Braves and
They're
Phillies too.
going under. That's right. The Braves and they can have them. The Braves and the Mets and the Phillies.
Which is crazy
they'll
because
split them up.
62, that's a 100-loss season. That's 100 losses
Oh,
right
I
there.
know. Yeah.
So they could lose. They could easily lose 106 to help the Braves, Phillies, and Phillies get up over their totals.
Each of them hit 90.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Okay. NL Central, the Cubs 91.
Oof. Oh. Under? Question mark?
I'm gonna go
By
even.
a half a game? Yeah.
I'm going even.
I don't.
Yeah. That's tough. Maybe we say 90 and a half when we go over on that.
Yeah, 90 and a half. I'll be 90, you be a half. It'll be great.
The Brewers 81.
Over.
I've got to go over just because of who the manager is. Cards 78. I'm going under.
Yeah, me too, actually. And I'll tell you why. Because the Pirates and the Reds are both going to get overs for me.
You think so? Because the Pirates are 75.
Yeah, they're going to do better than that.
Okay, because I had them under. Because I know, coming from a Mariners fan, this is really weird to say, but until that offense proves that they can actually do something, I'm going to have to go under.
It's going to happen. They're not going to contend.
And I'm not saying
not saying
65. I'm thinking like 73.
Okay, that's fair, but I'm also not thinking 90. Okay, I'm saying like
they won
76
76 last year.
Yeah, 78.
Okay.
80 if the Cards really,
really
fall asleep.
Bad.
Yeah. And if they lose Arenado, they could be.
Yeah. So Cincinnati, the Reds 74. I got to go over.
Over. Yeah, over.
Yeah,
that one's easy.
They won 77 last year, so I think that's easy. Yeah. I know they don't have Jonathan India, but I think they made enough moves to improve. So they'll be good. All right, NL West. This is the last one. The Dodgers 104. I got to go over. I don't know how you don't
I was
go
talking
over.
to a guy at the gym, huge Dodgers fan. He's like, "What do you think? Anything over or anything under 105? Total loss?" I'm like, "It's hard to say that. I don't think I can agree with that. But it will be a disappointment if there's anything under 105." So he thinks complete embarrassment. I think absolutely disappointing. So 104, I have to take the over.
Right. So think about this. The 2022 team. Is this team better than the 2022 team?
How could it not be?
They won 111 games that year.
Yeah. This is...
Dude.
Okay.
Unless they have catastrophic pitching injuries like they had last year, we might see a new wins record this year.
For real.
They could win 120. And I wouldn't be all that shocked by it.
God, no. Holy crap. Sorry, I just choked on the future. I couldn't understand. I was like, wow.
I know. Okay. Like they could win that 120th game and I'd be like, of course they did. But anyway, Diamondbacks.
You're like, yeah.
Diamondbacks 87.
Under.
I'm gonna go over just by just a hair, probably 88. Padres 82.
Over.
I'm going under.
Really?
Going under because they're gonna end up dealing somebody, and it's not gonna be Machado. It's not gonna be a Tatis, but I think they're gonna deal somebody significant, either spring training or early, and they're gonna go under. Giants 78.
I don't know.
Just be safe. Just say they're gonna push. That's what I think.
I mean,
there's such a
seriously.
question mark.
Yeah, they are.
I mean, they do have Willie Adames. So they do have Willie Adames, right? They have shortstop sorted, right? They won 80
but
games
they picked
last
up
year.
Justin
I'm gonna go
Verlander.
over then. I'm going to go over.
Justin Verlander's just as big a question mark right now in terms of longevity. So if they make it to 78 wins, he might end up being 78 years old by the time that, day comes around. In terms of what his arm can do. You know what I mean? Who knows?
Yeah. His arm would be 78. You're right. Okay. Last one. The last one. The Rockies. 55.
55?
That is not very many wins. It's what, 100?
What did they do last year?
7 losses. Last year they won 61. This team, I'm going to say they're going to give the last year's White Sox a run for their money.
Wow. That bad?
No, they're not going to get there, but it's going to be real ugly. No Charlie Blackmon to kind of anchor things.
Don't forget about Chris Bryant. They still have him.
Oh, they do. He's played as many games as Anthony Rendon has. Don't forget that.
No, Rendon certainly played more.
They have played the exact same percentage of games since they've been with their current teams.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So
That's
and
crazy.
this is the thing too, is that Chris Bryant, I think, is going to find a way to not play because he has already expressed his regret for having signed with the Rockies.
Oh yeah, he has.
Which just slays me.
Dude, when he signed, we all looked at each other like,
Huh? Yeah,
what?
That's exactly what it was.
You could have anything you want in the whole world, basically, and you want to play in Denver? Nothing against,
So this is
wow.
the thing.
Still don't get it.
Denver, I've never been, but I've heard stories that is a beautiful city. That ballpark, what I've seen is amazing. I mean, you've been.
It's magical. There's something so unbelievably elegant about the whole thing. It just is.
But the team is a disaster.
It's a disaster.
And Bud Black just keeps getting paid because he just keeps showing up. Like, we can't get anybody else to do this, so we're just going to keep you around.
I don't know. It's such heartbreak.
It's ridiculous.
It is heartbreaking.
So I'm going under.
Anyway.
I'm going under 55 for the Rockies.
That's smart. I think I'll join you. All right, baseball family, tell us what you thought. Tell us what you thought of what we thought. Tell us what you thought we should have thought in the comments and let us know. Last thing, before we let you go, JD Martinez is planning for retirement.
Yeah, he is.
Currently a free agent still, so we don't know when or if whatever might happen. But he has signed a deal with Jula to become a professional pickleball player.
Yeah, he did.
How you like that?
That's awesome.
He's going to be backed by Jula to compete in professional events. He's going to host his own pickleball tournaments. And according to a statement released by Jula, should he get his pickleball career, I worded that poorly. They have released all this information and these statements, helping us anticipate all of this happening with and for JD Martinez.
For those of you who don't know who Jula is a tennis like a tennis and pickleball company. Like they're like the Adidas of pickleball and tennis, apparently.
Perfect. That's a great way to put it. So, do you? The question is this the right time for JD Martinez to reinvent himself as a pickleball champion? Or
No time
does
like
he
the
wait?
present.
Does he wait? Does he try and leg out a few more in Major League Baseball, or what?
I think if he does not sign with the team by the time spring training is over, it's pickleball time, baby. That's
If
why
you're
I see
getting
it.
that much love and that much backing, and this opportunity is just arms wide open, then you got to jump into it.
Yeah, exactly right. Because let's look at his last look at 2024 real quick with the Mets. Okay, .5 WAR. He did hit 16 homers. He hit 235, but for him, 16 homers is not. I mean, that's what he did in 2022. He hit 33 with the Dodgers in 23. 2020 that doesn't count, but he was a negative WAR that year. So he hasn't been like JD Martinez for like a while. He hit 42 with Boston in 2021. But like he played in 120 games with the Mets last year, played in 113 with the Dodgers in 2023. And granted, he was an all-star, right? In 3 of the last 4 years, he was an all-star.
Yeah.
But I think at 36, 37 years old, like you're an aging slugger, and it's not the steroid era anymore. So,
Yep.
I don't know. Watch. He's going to sign with somebody during spring training and come in and hit like 35 bombs this year. And just show
Right.
me right
That's
up.
the thing. And honestly, if he stays healthy, has a halfway decent year, this Julep thing isn't going away. Because
Right. Yeah.
pickleball is all the rage. People love it. We have friends, they play it every Wednesday.
Dude,
Rain or
I
shine.
love pickleball.
Yeah, it's like their whole thing.
Like-
Also, Willem Dafoe, champion pickleball player, I learned.
That was the best commercial.
It was
That was my favorite one.
It
Willem
was
Dafoe,
so great.
Catherine O'Hara.
Catherine
Hustling
O'Hara.
everybody
Yeah.
at pickleball. Randy Moss. You know we're professional athletes, right? At what? That was such a good commercial.
It was awesome. All right, baseball family, let us know what you think. Should JD Martinez join join somebody in spring training, or should he jump in to his
pickleball.
future Hall of Fame pickleball career, which it inevitably will be. And don't forget to like and subscribe and rate and review the show anywhere you're able. We're on all of the social media platforms that we can still get to. We are happy to be there, and we're happy that you're there with us. Don't forget, we release an episode every Tuesday, and then during the season, we will be doing one every Friday.
And Sunday.
And then Sunday. See,
So they're
what
going
I
to be doing
meant
lives
earlier.
night. So
When
we'll
I
be
did
doing
all
lives
of the
Thursday night
shows.
during the season. Yeah, we'll be
Right.
doing lives Thursday night during the season like we always do. And if you don't catch that Thursday night, it'll be on YouTube right after, but the audio version will drop Friday morning.
Right. So there are 3 chances. Coming up very soon, we'll have 3 chances to hear from us and engage with us and talk about baseball with us. That will be Tuesdays, Thursday nights, and Sundays. And it's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
That's a lot. It's going to be awesome.
Yep.
How many times can I say that's going to be awesome before we leave? Okay, bye!